Hi everyone, Bruno here. So we decided to include a little disclaimer before the episode because of the nature of the film and the story of the film. We'll be talking a little bit about suicide. So we advise on listener discretion. Thank you.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I'm 37?
I'll have what she's having.
Wilson! Wilson!
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the Film Store Basement podcast, everyone. I'm Michaela.
I'm Bruno.
And there's Bruno. And we just we always forget to present ourselves. It's always forget that maybe not everyone knows our names or reads captions or even like listens to the introduction. So we have names. We are real people, not AI. We do this podcast where we just choose a movie, like a random movie. Doesn't need to be anything specific. It's just something that one of us wants to. And we just kind of watch it and then record ourselves speaking about it. So this time, it's your choice.
Yeah, this
Isn't
time
it?
was my
Yeah.
choice. I chose Buffalo 66.
For those who are first-time listeners, Bruno is a film graduate, so he actually knows a lot about cinema more than I, although I also took some cinema courses in college. So I pretty much know that every time he's gonna choose a movie, I probably haven't seen it. I've heard about it, but I never got to it. And this time, because of this episode, I actually went and saw the movie, and yeah.
And what a film. It's actually considered one of the best first films ever by a filmmaker. It's on those lists, on those top 10 lists kind of thing.
It's Vincent Gallo's first movie ever?
Yeah, as a director. Yeah. Which by the time when the film came out, the film and the story of the film actually makes a lot of sense because Vincent Gallo started really working in cinema with an independent director, Abel Ferrara, that is of Italian descent and has made loads of films, but has never achieved critical acclaim or big financial gain on these films. Abel Ferrara is like a cinema school for a lot of actors that work with him. He has an amazing career for someone that his films are constantly flopping at the box office.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard of him, so I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
he was big in the 80s and 90s, and one of his biggest movies is Bad Lieutenant or The King of New York, like from the 80s, violent films around crime. When Vincent Gallo came up with his first film, this is a typical Abel Ferrara film. But this is
Yeah.
actually well thought of and well played, and I really like this film and all the meaning of the films. And Miha has done like cultural studies and literary studies. So this is a film that's nice to watch with someone, to debate with someone that has that in text interpretation.
Look at you
school too.
putting your hopes up. Like, don't do that
Yeah.
because from what I've saw, a lot of people love this movie.
Yeah, because this movie is actually, there's a lot of hidden messages within the movie, but I went to see it in the cinemas when it came out.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah,
So was this was like late 90s, right?
like
98?
1998. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
that old. So,
No, you're not, but like I'm just putting context. So this
yeah,
movie is from 1998.
me and my friends, we went to see it, and I was just astonished. I was expecting something like a cool independent film, but it is actually a really awesome film, and that really connected with a lot of people, especially with the dinner scene, with the parents scene. That was a weird scene, but very
That was a
funny.
weird scene. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I didn't connect with the movie at first. I didn't. But we'll get to it. Like first,
So
maybe we should just put a bit of a synopsis of the
yeah,
movie.
the film starts with Billy in jail.
Yeah, so Billy is like it's actually played by Vincent Gallo,
Yeah, it's
so
actually played
he
by Vincent Gallo.
not only
Billy
directed it but also stars
played,
in it.
and he's like in jail, and has this beautiful, beautiful scene because digital editing was
I
new at
love
the
that
time.
scene. Yeah, no, like that
The
scene.
picture in
I
picture scene, and
Exactly. Like it really just because the film starts with him leaving jail, like
yeah,
he made his time, so just he's getting out. But then this montage of like pictures on the screen, it just shows his time in jail and like
yeah,
gives you context in just a short amount of seconds. And it was so well done for like giving the viewer context. The fact that he was in jail is kind of like a big deal in the movie,
yeah,
just brushing it off as like he just got out would be doing like an unjust to the whole
to the story.
plot,
Yeah,
yeah. So like giving that scene with the pictures of his time in jail, I thought it was well done to give more to the viewer about okay, so this guy, like what was his time in jail, and the pictures that were shown were very sad. Like
yeah.
he's a sad man, but like his time in jail was also not like very cute. I mean, I'm not saying that time in jail is cute, but like he's not a happy man. That's what I'm trying to
No,
say. And
it's
his
not
time
at
in
all.
jail was also very lonely, was also very sad. But yeah, he gets out of jail and he wants to pee. And I thought so funny. Like he just goes back to
And he
the
can't get
jail.
into jail.
Yeah, he's like, I really need to use the bathroom,
And they're like, no, you can't come in. He's like,
You can't like just get out of here, like. But
that first sequence of the film, those first minutes of the film is actually, for me, probably one of the best, if not the best commentary on reintegrating the society after you leave jail.
yeah,
Because he just came out of jail, he can't even do a basic physiological function of his body because he's
yeah,
an ex-con. It's like wherever he goes to a restaurant and the guy is not having it. Like we closed, get out of here. He tries to go to the bus station, but everything is closed.
yeah. He even tries to pee behind a car, but then
But the
like the
car
lady of the
moves.
car, yeah, and he's like, "No, I can't pee behind a car." And it's like, "Come on, all of us pee behind cars. Like, do it, do it."
For me, it's like that. It's a huge commentary on how difficult it is when people come out of jail. And it's done in a very comedic way. And it's like a message that some people won't get. It's just like the guy's trying to pee. Yeah, but he's an ex-con. And the thing is, because it's illegal for you to pee in the street, isn't it? That he ends up falling back into crime, doesn't he? He comes out of jail as like a recovered member of society, but society rejects him and he
Yeah,
goes back into crime again.
yeah,
This is a great film to see, or that little bit to see, like in criminology studies. But I think I like the stories of films when they start you at one point, but then across the film they show you like the story of the film actually starts 5 years before that, doesn't it? When
yes.
showing why you went to jail. And the film gets his name because the Buffalo Bills team of the NFL hadn't won a championship since it's actually since 65, but it was supposed to be played 66. And then they went back to four straight Super Bowls and they lost the four. And this reflects on the first time they went and lost with the New York Giants because Scott Wood kicked the wide right. What
So
happens
like
is,
this was like a big deal, right, for
yeah,
American culture.
for American
Something that
culture, it's a big deal.
I didn't know. I didn't know of this event, and Bruno was like telling me about it because like I got so surprised, like how knowledge is this guy about American football? But apparently this was like a huge deal, and a lot of people like lost bets,
Yeah.
and there was a whole prosecution about it. It was
Yeah.
like
It was
it's a
actually
huge
investigated and
yeah,
everything
yeah,
if the guy
okay.
did it on purpose, which he didn't because it was a very difficult kick for him to do. It was a high gamble by the manager, but anyway. because everyone believed that the Buffalo Bills were supposed to win that Super Bowl. Billy put up like a bet with money that he didn't have, and because the Buffalo Bills lost, he didn't have money to pay the bet, so he had to confess to a crime that he didn't commit. That's why he's in jail. So
Yeah, so
there's
like
a lot of
he and
bitterness
yeah.
in Billy, doesn't it? Even when he comes out of the jail, because we don't know this at the time when you're seeing the film, or you don't know anything about the film, you don't actually know this, but you notice that there's a lot of bitterness in Billy.
He's piled up with emotions and none of
Yeah,
them are positive. Like you can
no,
even see that during the sequence of him trying to pee, you know,
yeah,
like the frustration. And it's like it's obvious that he's frustrated because he wants to release himself, but at the same time it's like there's more to it. It's like even when he just goes and sits on the bench, like don't you have family to go to? Like why did no one come to
pick
see
him up.
him
Yeah,
on, you know, pick him up? Or you could tell this man is an angry man, a frustrated one, and in terms of emotional baggage, there's something there. And the
yeah,
movie definitely was exploring that, was building up to that. But yeah, we end up seeing that he actually has a revenge vendetta
yeah.
because of this time that he spent in jail for a crime that he didn't commit. But Billy ends up actually finding a bathroom in a dance studio.
Yeah. So Billy goes and finds this dance studio where he goes to the bathroom, but there's a guy that comes in, looks at him, and he freaks out. Nowadays,
Yeah, he said
viewers, it's a bit,
he said like, well, but it's so big, you know.
yeah,
I was like, and this made me think about guys, like heterosexual men in like public bathrooms when they go, and apparently like men have a rule that is like you have to like leave a urinal in between someone, in
Oh,
between two
yeah,
people,
unless you're friends, yeah. I don't
unless
use
you're
the urinals.
friends.
Yeah, I don't use the
uh
urinals. I use the stools.
oh,
Because I had a
okay,
bad
okay.
experience with urinals when I was a kid.
But it was like with someone, because a lot of
Oh
people
yeah, I went
tell
to a
me that
public bathroom. I went to a public bathroom. It was the bus station. I went to a public bathroom, and I went to the urinal, and there was this guy, like this old guy, that came and stood next to me, and I'm peeing because I'm peeing.
because that's what you're doing,
That's what
like
I'm doing. And
that's
this was like a 60, 65, 70-year-old man, and he
yeah,
starts
okay.
masturbating, looking at me.
Oh
Oh
no.
yeah.
Oh
Oh yeah.
no. Wait.
Yeah,
Wait. I thought
shit
this
like
was a
this.
funny story. Oh
No,
God.
shit like this
No.
happens. In happened
Yeah.
in the 90s. Like people are always with this mentality of like saying like, no, this is
Oh.
all new, and homosexuality is new. No, 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 no. Like perverts have been around for
I think the Greeks would
millennials.
disagree, but
Yeah.
okay. But like, you know, I am just I hate that argument. Like, what do you mean it's
Yeah.
new? But
So
I'm
yeah.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like,
So I never use the urinal. Like, well, if I'm in a toilet like a McDonald's or something,
yeah.
but you close the door, you're there by yourself. I'll use the urinal. But in a public space with like 10 urinals, no,
Yeah,
it's
but
not for me.
apparently, like, this is something that a lot of men feel uncomfortable of.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't even know if, like, it's with friends or not. Like, I feel like even with friends, you have to, like, leave, like, a urinal in between them because it's considered, like, really uncool if you, like, pee right next to someone. And if there is no other urinal available that it's, like, not, like, in close proximity with someone, you just wait
Oh
for
yeah,
someone
yeah.
to
You
get
just
out.
wait.
Yeah.
But it's like this. Like we're discussing urinals, but but it's like this. Imagine the reverse. Like
Yeah.
when men go to bathrooms and use urinals and everything, I'm not even going into the competition side of it, like who has the biggest and stupid things like that. But it's like this, like when people using urinals and stuff, it's easy for you when you're coming in, and it's easy for you to see men's dicks basically. And you have to imagine this. If you reverse the roles here, and I ask you, how many vaginas have you seen, or how many friends' vaginas have you seen in your entire life?
I've seen a
Because,
couple.
but yeah,
I've seen a couple, but like not in public
yeah, but if
bathrooms
you go
for
even
sure.
with your friends, if you go to urinals and everything, it's probably just like you, as a
But the,
man, you probably have seen your friends' dicks.
yeah.
So it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is like this whole thing about girls going to public bathrooms together because of sexual harassment. So
Yeah,
we end up like it's just from when we were young, like we go to public bathrooms when we go out or something is like really normal for us girls to go like in a group. So, but at the same time, like the logistics of how a bathroom for a woman is made is
yeah,
different from what a man's is made. So we
yeah.
pee in the
In the stool, yeah.
stools that are like closed,
Yeah.
It's not like a urinal like for
And
the
even
guys.
if you like go too inside the stool, it's not like you seeing the other woman's vagina.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like it's not made of glass. It's like
Yeah. No,
it's
but
all
even
closed.
if you are in the same stool, like you're like, because they are big stools, and like she goes in and you go in, like make her come, whatever reason.
Yeah.
Even if she gets undressed, and it's not like you seeing it,
Yeah, yeah.
and because men has this thing, because this is the thing, society kind of tells you where your self-worth is somehow connected to the size of your penis.
Yeah, it's very like the phallic is like your ego and the ego is like your phallic. But like
Yeah.
I feel that something to do with a lot of like maybe something repressed, like a lot of men that are afraid of like homosexuality
Oh yeah.
and other men liking them. So, and this
Mm-hmm.
happens with Billy, like just because
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't think it's like correct for the other guy who was like being there saying, "Oh, but it's so big." I
Yeah.
mean, it was funny, but at the same time, like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Clearly, Billy was saying, don't look at
Yeah.
me. Like, he was uncomfortable. And the guy was like, okay, but like, it's so big. Well, what was that? I didn't think that was okay, but I clearly didn't think that Billy's response was okay because he just flipped out. He was starting to
And
call this guy the F word. It was
it
very rude,
punches
very,
him and
yeah, punches him. It was very, there are some anger built in this man and
but even the commentary, isn't it? Even the commentary is like, because you see Billy, he comes out of jail and he's all repressed and he's all, but the other guy says like, oh, but he's so big. Like, you have a big dick, so you have to be a big man. You have to be like, is very
super
different
confident.
from what we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, but Billy is small. Billy
Yeah.
is small, is insecure, is frustrated, so it just doesn't go with the whole idea of big dick. He does not have big dick energy. And we kind of,
Yeah.
well, the movie, in terms of like the romance of the movie, you get to see that Billy is actually a very vulnerable man, you
Oh,
know.
yes. But
Big
then,
or not, it's still like he's still small inside, you
yeah.
know.
But
Um,
again, he can't pee because this guy's been like trying to pee for like 10 minutes now into the film, and he can't pee.
yeah,
And he
I think
decides to call his mother, and I bet that when you were watching this film and you saw the relation with the father and the mother, and you probably said one of your coolest phrases that you like, you have this catchphrase saying like, oh, Freud just got stronger.
listen, why do we have to put this man's name in every episode? Like, but it's true. But it's true. Like when the family scene was playing, I was like, oh God, like this man is just going strong. He's just growing stronger into his grave. Like
Yeah.
really, he will come one day, like a
The
zombie and
second
haunt us all.
Messiah, something like
Yeah,
that.
like the second. Oh
Psychoanalysis,
God.
second Messiah.
Imagine Freud being the second Messiah. That would be that would be the death of us.
So he's
But
talking with his mother, and because no one knows that he's been into jail, so everyone believes that he just went to another city because of a job, and he's been lying to his family. This is the
yeah.
first time we see he's been lying to his family. He says something about having a fiance, girlfriend, and he tries to a wife,
Yeah.
and he tries to see like to tell his mother like, no, she's not feeling okay, she's not coming to the phone, but you can see that the mother knows how to push his buttons because he becomes really infuriated. And all of a sudden, this story of her, like, no, she's been vomiting and she's not feeling well. All of a sudden, he's like, okay, I'll bring her. I'll bring her to the house. I'll bring her.
Not only that, but like in that conversation, he's like, "Do you want me to bring her? She's sick. Do you really want me to bring her?" So it's
Yeah,
like he's kind of like pushing the conscious boundary, you know? It's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
do you really want to meet my fiance when she's like sick? Is that what you want? Do you want her to get even more sicker? Like,
But his mother doesn't have that conscious border. Like she doesn't care.
yeah, she's like, yeah, I want to, like, I want to meet her, sick or not. But before that, like, we actually meet Layla. So
Yeah,
Layla is played by Christina Ricci, and she is very beautiful in this movie.
oh yeah,
Very, yeah, very beautiful. And she's like tap dancing, you know, because he's in the dance studio when he
yeah,
goes and you know, to the urinal and all that. So when he's insulting the guy that said, "You're so big, but you're so," you know, and he just starts insulting him and calling him the F word and being very rude and disrespectful. Layla actually says,
oh
"Yeah,
yeah.
watch your mouth."
Watch your
And
mouth.
this is the first time that they
Interact.
interact, and he's like, I don't know what he said something back to her, like
Yeah,
also very rude, and he calls her miss, and then he has the audacity to ask for like a coin to
yeah.
actually
To make
make
the
the
phone.
call.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I was like, oh God, like the audacity, really. Like
yeah,
you just said for this woman to shut up, and then and you know what, I was like even more surprised with her because she actually gave him the penny. He was like,
yeah.
she actually gave him the coin to make a call. I was like, I wouldn't. Like, what do you mean? So I was judging both of them right there.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I always pointed out at the film, which is like the only thing missing because the film is very egocentrical around Billy, and this is actually a film. It's a cool film, but it's a film to promote Vincent Gallo. It is what it is. But the only thing missing to make this for the film to make more sense is Layla's backstory to understand her reactions throughout the film.
You
Like
know,
even
like
in that
I've
reaction,
yeah,
like she has to
but
have a
it's true.
backstory for a man that shouts at her, and all of a sudden he's like, can I have a quarter?" And she's like, "Here you go." There's
The thing
something
is,
there.
Layla, we don't really get nothing of Layla,
No.
like nothing. I mean, when he's like talking to his mother on the phone and screaming about, "You want me to bring her? She's sick," and all of that, we get the shot of Layla in the bathroom crying. Like
Yeah.
she's just crying, and it's like we never get like. Why is this girl crying? Why is she in a tap dance class? Like,
Yeah.
and so like, okay, she likes to tap, valid, but at the same time, it's like we don't get anything of her. We don't
No.
even know her surname. It's like she is really just an extension of this character's journey after jail. I don't know. It's so like she's not even like a main character in terms of being someone that
No.
he meets and like a love story, and she's not independent at all, like
No.
as a character. She's really just an extension of him, and she is a very sad girl, you know. She's crying. Even when we first have a glance of her, she's like tap dancing, and she's so sad tap dancing. She's kind
Yeah.
of concentrating on the moves, but you can see that she's the one that's kind of like in a more slow pace
Yeah.
dancing than the rest of the class. So she's a very interesting character because of all of these moments that we see of her, but we never get an answer of why is she like that. We only get to see her evolve as someone who falls for Billy.
Yeah. But there's no backstory, there's no nothing. It's like, and the story kind of humanizes Billy as it moves forward.
Which I mean I like, but I don't. And this is like the thing for me. It's because when she gets out of the bathroom, he like super, frustrated because he just said to his mother that he will bring the wife, which he doesn't have. So he looks at Layla and then he kidnaps her. And I
Yeah.
was like, what What? What? It got no, like don't
He's an
laugh. If
ex-con, isn't he? He's an ex-con,
yeah,
so
he's an ex. I mean, he's an ex-con. I don't know, but I mean, yes, I know he is. But at the same time, I was like, what? No, this is not a love story. No, no way. And she's like screaming. He's like, shut up, keep quiet. And he just drags her out of the dance studio and puts her in the car. And I'm like, this is making me so uncomfortable, And throughout the whole movie, a lot of people love this movie because you can actually see how Layla warms up to him and how he opens up to her in the end, and he just lets his guard down, and how he ends up, letting her in and shows vulnerability. But I could not forget that he kidnapped her.
oh yeah,
What?
sure. He kidnapped her.
I was like, you,
Uh,
you kidnapped you,
and the,
girl. What?
the scene in the car when they get in the car and he's trying to drive the car, but he's a manual stick car and he only drove automatic shift.
Listen, that part was just so stupid. I was rolling my eyes. What do you mean? Shut up. Like you kidnap and then you don't know what to do.
Yeah. And he's like,
Oh
I'm not used to
my.
these cars. I'm used to big luxury cars and with automatic gears. And what is this? It's so funny. And after a
It's
while, when
sweet.
he actually stops for a piss, like she can actually drive off. She can go away, but
Yeah,
she
I was
doesn't.
like, girl, he kidnapped you.
Yeah, but he's
Drive.
like that. But he's pissing by a tree, and he's like, "Oh, the bushes," and he's like, "Don't look, don't look."
And she's and I don't know, like Layla, that's why having a background on Layla would be so
Yeah,
important because
yeah,
why aren't you driving off? Why are
yeah.
you finding this amusing? This is why it's important to have a backstory on Layla so that we didn't get.
No,
So
that's the only thing that I have to point out. Because, as I said, the film it's a big project to promote Vincent Gallo. And apparently, during the filming, Vincent Gallo and Christina Ricci, they didn't see eye to eye. They've
yeah,
discussed a lot. They fought a lot. Vincent Gallo
he's a
is
complicated character.
yes, he is.
Uh, no,
He is
like I'm
very
I'm not talking about Billy's character. I'm
no,
talking
but
about
Vincent
like
Gallo
Vincent Gallo.
himself. Yeah,
Himself. I don't know if you've seen his website. Like he has a website that it's very cringy but very like old school.
yeah,
And then he has like a lot of propositions about like spending time with him, and he is a very, how do I say this? He has like his preferences, and I feel like discrimination is very there. Like
yeah,
you can read that, and it's this is not to talk about Vincent Gallo, but
yeah,
he's a polarizing man,
yeah,
polarizing artist. I would say a lot of people, that this is something that I've noticed when I was reading about Buffalo 66 is in terms of like opinions of people, it was like people loved the movie, it's one of their all-time favorite movies, but they usually feel so conflicted because they hate the man that did it.
yeah.
They hate the man that that did this movie. It's like, God, I hate him, but this is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
So I don't think he minds. I think that this is something that's for someone who has a character like his, he's definitely someone who cares more about the product that he's selling, that
yeah,
because it's an extension of him, and in someone's minds like that, it's if you like this, you end up kind of liking me as well. You don't have to say I like Vincent Gallo. You just have to say Buffalo 66 is awesome for him to boost himself,
yeah. But even in real life, it's fun because in real life, is the spitting image of Abel Ferrara, because Abel Ferrara was also like that, a very polarizing man, and his films are very violent, very misogynist, and sometimes racist. Willem Dafoe has done like about 6 or 8 films with him. He actually has a very cool film like in the mid 2000s, I think, which is 444, The End of the World, which is like his softest film. Uh,
Okay. The End of the World,
yeah,
softest
this
film.
is one of his softest films. But it's like this, like you can see like The King of New York or Bad Lieutenant, you'd be like, oh man, this guy's a genius. But this guy is actually a psychopath, like in real life.
Wow.
It was actually Abel Ferrara is actually a bit of a psychopath. At some point in his career, he was charged with domestic violence and all sorts of stuff.
What a surprise, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, I'm sorry, but every artist that have like a very violent background for his art, I don't doubt that his personal life also reflects some sort of violence, lived violence. I mean,
they even did a kind of a remake of Bad Lieutenant with Nicolas Cage. It's actually a very good film. But at the time, because of Abel Ferrara deals with the justice, they had to distance themselves from him. All of a sudden, in interviews, they were like, "Oh no, no, no! This is not a remake. We have nothing to do with Abel Ferrara's film." It's like, of course you do. Like the story is almost the same. The title is the same, and they're like, "No, there are similarities."
there are
But it's
similarities.
not a remake because it's a different city,
Yeah,
different
we
actors.
were inspired.
Yeah.
We were inspired,
It's like
not.
when they did City of Angels, like Nicolas Cage, you can actually see an interview going like, "Oh no, no, this is not a remake of Wim Wenders' film Wings of Desire. No, 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 this is very different." It's like, no, it's not. It's just because your film has Meg Ryan and it's 90 minutes, and Wim Wenders is like almost 3 hours long, and he's set up in Berlin and you're in Los Angeles. But it is a remake. Vincent Gallo is actually funny because he kind of grew up through Abel Ferrara's films, and he actually mimics Abel Ferrara live to a certain extent. But coming back to Billy, so Billy kidnaps this girl. He finally takes a piss, like in the street, which is illegal, but he already broke the law, so he went
But
back into crime.
yeah, I mean, what's worse, being behind a tree or like kidnapping a girl or like just calling someone rude slurs? I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, it's been like 3 minutes in the movie and I'm already like
Yeah.
very concerned. Uh, and the thing is, when he gets in the car, he's like, "Ooh, finally,
Yeah.
I got to piss." And then he just turns to Layla and like, "Look, I'm sorry." I was like, yeah, okay. So this man
Oh, he
just really, yeah.
apologized. It's okay.
All he had to do was pee. Maybe that's like the therapy we all need. Maybe we need to release it somehow and like not metaphorically, maybe just release it really. But I hated that scene. Like I hated the fact that he was like super rude and then I mean not even like rude, like I'm sorry, you can't blame the fact that you kidnapped someone on the fact that you wanted to pee, that like your bladder was
Yeah.
full. That's so stupid. Like, Your Honor, I did not want to kidnap this person, but I was not myself because my bladder was full.
Yeah, and
Now
I had a
imagine saying
discussion
this
with
to
my
a judge.
mother.
Yeah, and I had like a discussion with my mother. Your Honor, my client was very in urge to pee.
Yeah.
So he committed these crimes because he wanted to urinate, you
Yeah.
know?
That's
So,
true.
this is so stupid. Like, but the thing is, Layla is like growing fond. She's like, oh, he's apologizing. Layla
Yeah.
has daddy issues. You know what?
Yeah.
Layla, yeah,
Probably.
she has daddy issues. She probably had very bad relationships with like ex-boyfriends and whatnot, and men in her life in general. And it's like she even puts her hair behind her like
Yeah.
ear or like takes it off of her face and she's like listening closely because he's apologizing. And
Yeah.
like that toxic man, he's like, "Oh, sorry I hit you." Like, and she's like, "Yeah, you said sorry, so everything is fine."
Yeah.
Like it's giving so much. It's giving like that so much. Like
Yeah.
he kidnapped you, girl. He like pushed your hair and was rude and like I can't get behind that, you know. Throughout the whole movie, a lot of people love this movie and see this as a such a beautiful romance. I'm like, no,
No,
it's
no,
not.
no, no, no.
It's
It's
not.
psychotic, at least.
Yeah, it's not. Although I love the last 20 minutes of the movie, I don't know. It's always like such a weird feeling because he kidnapped you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna be that
I
person. I was like very annoyed by it.
I like stories where the hero or the main character is a broken character. You see that it's a gimmick like that's been used like since old Greece, where the main character has to push the story forward, like has to carry all these people, has to do all these has to do all these valiant things. But there's always a doubt that like, can he do it? Because like you don't believe in the character itself as an hero. So you have like everything in Billy's story is tragic. That's one of the things that I like the film. Like when he's like saying like, we're gonna meet our parents and I need you to
Make me look nice.
make me look nice, and your
Yeah.
name now is Wendy Balsam, and she's like, what?
What's wrong with Layla?
But that's the thing, like even in that scene, like he's destroying her identities, and he's like, no, you're not this woman, you are this woman. And then later we found out that there was a Wendy Balsam in Billy's life, and
Yeah.
it was a girl like in the high school that never paid any attention to him, like his high school thing. But it's like how broken you have to be, like to say like or to make pretend to your parents, no, I married my high school sweetheart, which it actually also serves as a commentary, right, to the American dream. Like
Yeah, the Americans have like this whole romantic idea of the sweetheart love
yeah,
or something like that.
from high school.
Yeah, from high. I married my sweetheart from high school, and it's like that's crazy
Yeah.
for us. Like here in Europe, it's like that's crazy.
That's a bit nuts.
Yeah, it's like ew. It's actually it's like all cute and all when you're in high school and like holding hands with people and
Yeah.
dating and whatnot. But marrying the person you meet in high school and your boyfriend from high school, that's nuts. That's
Yeah.
nuts. Like never. Like people look at you like you're kind of crazy when this happens here. It's not romantic. It's kind of concerning. Like
Yeah. Is everything okay with you?
yeah, like go and
Like,
live life. Like go and
yeah.
explore
Go and
stuff.
meet
Like
people. It's like,
yeah, go and meet people. It's like it's much more normal to have stories like, oh, we met in college.
yeah.
Yeah, but high school, that's people will look at you side-eyed. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care, even if you love each other. It's like go and live life. I mean,
Yeah.
but if that's like the only man you actually knew, not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that your early 20s, your 19s, early 20s are very much defining of your adult character,
Yeah.
So, and in terms of love life and what are you like expecting? And even like you are building your professional life, you are evolving emotionally and all of that. So it's very weird for me to think that you found the person that you're gonna spend your life with in high school
Yeah.
when your mentality is so underdeveloped. And it's like you're still in high school. Believe me, you haven't like lived a lot. Again, I'm not saying it's not possible to people can like grow together and all of that, but for such defining years, you are finding yourself, and the probability of you are just adapting yourself to this person while you're growing, it's much bigger when you have like a sweetheart, high school love or whatever, than just exploring other people. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but like this comes from me, someone who is in her early 20s, but from you, like from your point of view, I mean, you are much older than me,
Oh,
and
thank you.
like, come on, you know what I mean?
No,
Like
I like the
you.
much. It's not just like the older already says I'm older, but like the much. It's the use of the
No,
word
it's like if I
much.
said no, wait a second. If I said like older, people would think like maybe like, oh, he's like 2 years older. But when
No,
I say
no,
much,
it's like
they
Jedi years. It's like I'm Jedi older than
okay,
her.
okay. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I did not mean to offend you. I'm just
I'm just
saying,
kidding.
like,
I'm just kidding. You don't know, man.
we are from different generations, and you've lived more than me, and probably have like a
Oh,
different
thank you. You
perspective.
live more. I mean,
God, Bruno,
I'm
stop!
kidding. I'm
I'm
kidding.
trying to make a point
Yeah.
that
No, it's a good point.
you
I'm.
have a different perspective of
Oh,
it
of
because
course.
you are older than me.
I actually know a couple that they got together when they were like 16,
Yeah, that's not
17,
unusual.
and
It's
they're
just
still going strong. For me, and this might sound a bit harsh, but this is my social scientist side of it.
Oh yeah, he's an anthropologist, don't forget,
Yeah.
y'all. Like he has a degree in cinema, but he's an anthropology student now.
So I think those relationships work as long people don't think about them and about themselves.
Dun 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 dun. Cue dramatic music.
But it is like, I
But
think
it
one
kind
of
of
the
is true,
biggest
yeah.
problems is when you start thinking a lot about life and about like everything, like you overthink everything, like which is kind of what we do as academics.
Yeah, that's why I'm in therapy. Like,
Yeah.
I love my academic life, but it's like I need
A
some sort of
therapy.
support
Oh
because things
yes.
are
Oh
not doing
yes.
all right. And sometimes
And
I wish I was like just a moron, who
yeah.
didn't thought. I think I
Well,
would be
that's
happier being in
all
ignorance.
cultures, all languages have a saying that goes around like ignorance is a bliss, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
And I think that when you apply to it, I think yeah, it's possible. Like you don't overthink everything. Like you got together, like you got in love with 16, 17, and you kind of keep that in with you. Like people go through all these changes, like they have kids and body changes and everything changes, but it just like you don't think about it, you just keep going, you know.
Yeah, I feel like it's also because it's comfortable, it's familiar, it's like
Oh
it's
yeah,
safe. So it's like you don't even think about it. It's I feel
you
good,
don't
I
you don't
feel
need to.
fine about it. You don't need to, you feel like comfortable there.
And
It's
if they are lucky enough, which they kind of been, of not having like money issues throughout life,
oh yeah.
that contributes to it, because money issues will kill any relationship. I don't care how much you love someone, money issues will always kill a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, capitalism hates love.
Yeah,
It's true. I mean, come
unless
on.
unless
Like
on the Valentine's Day, they love on the
oh,
Valentine's Day.
come on. Yeah, for sure.
But it's
And
about the love of the girl, because like the first time he gets, like he tries to recreate a relationship that he tried to have like in high school, and then he goes, he meets his parents, and the relationship with his parents is all about, that scene is all about love and the lack of love.
I felt something that really was like heartfelt for me was the moment that before they knocked on the parents' door,
Oh, he
um,
cracks down.
yeah, he has like that, like an anxiety moment,
Mm-hmm.
and he asks her, like, hold me, can you hold me, please? And like
Yeah.
she just kind of touches him, and he's already like tracked down, like, no, don't touch me.
Yeah.
It's like this man really doesn't know what to do with his guard. Like he really wants some sort of warmth from someone. He really wants someone there for him because he's so fragile and vulnerable, but he doesn't know how to deal with it. So he tracks down at the sheer side of exposing himself,
Yeah.
like literally exposing, whether it's his dick
Yeah.
or it's his more vulnerable side of him being afraid of something or anxious about whatnot. You can see that he looks for parents' approval for sure.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
And it's
um,
like, what would Freud say about the fact that the mother never knows who Billy is?
I mean,
It's like even in the phone call, the original phone call, he's like, "It's Billy,
uh,
Billy,
yeah, Billy,
Billy,
your
your
son,
son."
your son. Uh,
And when the
and
father
when
opens the door, it's like, "Oh, Billy's
uh,
here. Billy,
your
who's Billy?"
son, like the mother has, and it's and I wonder, like it's this, and also the fact that she's always like Billy, and
Yeah,
also the fact that she blames him for missing like the game where the Buffaloes win,
yeah,
like that game that they won and she lost. It was like the last time that they won. And she lost that game because she's obsessed with the American football and the
yeah,
Buffaloes. And you can see that in the decoration of the house, like the
yeah,
house interior. They have like a clock that it's the head of a football player, and then it's like the
yeah,
body of the football player running, and it's
yeah,
it's a crazy watch. It's a
yeah.
crazy living room watch. I
And
was
she's
like, that's
always watching the missed kick from the 1991 final.
and she's like, Billy was born that day that they won, and I missed it. So sometimes I wish he was never even born
Yeah.
because of it. Like she puts the game on top of
Of his
his,
own son.
and I was like, how would that not mess you up?
Yeah,
That's
and you
awful.
remember when they're like sitting on the table and she puts up like chocolate cookies or chocolate cake,
Oh yeah,
and he's
and
like,
she
I'm
forgets
allergic to
that
chocolate.
yeah. And she's like, "You're never allergic to chocolate. When?" And she's
Like
like,
since I was
"God,
born.
mother, since I was born, don't you remember that I, had that allergic attack when I was a kid?" And she's like, spends a moment in silence, and then she's like, "Not allergic to chocolate. You never were." It's so, oh my God, how disconnected from your
Yeah,
son, only son, I feel like. And it's like, and also the whole government job and be him being like successful and rich.
yeah,
I was like, how, like, your son, he clearly is not a
yeah.
successful man. He like, I don't know when he washed his hair last time. His face looks like he's about to burst in tears, like at every moment. His clothes are trash. Like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? It doesn't make any sense. And like even Layla's clothes, like, don't you question? Aren't you questioning anything?
yeah.
Like,
She kind of
how
looks like a stripper, doesn't she?
yeah, she doesn't look. I mean, I love Layla's outfit. I
Oh
love
yeah.
like Layla's all whole character. I feel like she's so beautiful and so iconic, and I wish I could like dress like that for Halloween or something. But
You
it's
can, why not?
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying because I don't usually dress up
Yeah.
in Halloween. I don't care, but I think it's an amazing like costume idea because it's so iconic and so recognizable for those who actually know Buffalo 66. Aren't you questioning anything? Like the whole scene where they're sitting at the table and like the shots, we are just seeing three people at a time. So we are seeing,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so awkward because everyone is so,
Staring at each other and quiet and no
it's
one's
like,
saying anything and
Is this the first time you hang out as a family? What is that? What do you do on Thanksgiving? What do you do on
yeah.
Christmas? Like, what is happening? It's so awkward. I was like, damn, what did Layla get herself into?
Yeah. And the story of the dog, the
No,
little
no, I don't want to
dog.
talk about it. I was very afraid that I would show, because I didn't know what to expect when I was watching this movie, but I was really afraid
How they would show the killing
they
of the
would
dog.
show, yeah, because the dog was so cute.
Yeah.
It's like, how can Billy not be traumatized when his father is so, and then the father was singing, he was
And
a
he was
singer.
trying. He was putting his moves onto Layla. He was like being really inappropriate with her.
Yeah,
Come and sit
very, yeah.
here. Come and sit in my lap and stuff like that.
Yeah, just a very, that type of that, that type of that. Just imagine my eyes, like my eyebrows raising and my eyebrows rolling, like,
Now you're my daughter. Like you imagine yourself
mm,
like you go and meet your boyfriend's parents and you're like let's say Amy's father is like, oh, you're very beautiful. Oh, come and sit here by me. Oh, come and sit here in my lap and
I honestly would break up with my boyfriend if he didn't do anything about it. Like, how dare you allow this? Like, what do you mean?
it was so
I don't
awkward.
know.
Everything is so awkward. But it's like this is where Layla's background is missing because Layla's doing all this just to be there for
But
Billy. And
But
she has no
she's
reason for
doing,
to
no,
be
no,
there for
listen, she's doing it. Like, she's even, sing another, I want to hear another song, sing
yeah.
another. And then he screams at her. He's like, no, I'm not gonna sing. I'm like, God, this is awful. And and then like she creates that story of the CIA that was so stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, who believes in that? And the thing is, she's telling the story and the father is like rolling his eyes and the mother is like, yeah, 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 but she's not even looking at her, she's like looking at the game.
Yeah, she doesn't really care, does she? She's
She
just watching the
doesn't.
game.
Yeah, and then she ends up saying to the parents, I'm pregnant.
Yeah. That was so awkward. You're watching that and he's like, man, this girl is going all in. It's like, why is she doing? There's no reason for her to be doing this. And all of a sudden she says that. And I'm like, oh no.
Exactly, I was like, girl. You are giving this family that is not even like a family, honestly. What was that? Like that when she tells the family first, it's
Yeah,
like a secret. Oh, it's a
he's not there.
surprise. Oh my God, I'm gonna have a grandson. I'm so happy and all of that. Parents are very happy and all. But then even Billy, when he finds out, he's so what?
Yeah,
And
he's like, you went too far. He's like, his eyes is like, you went too far with this.
but he still gets mad. He's like, I said make me look nice.
Yeah.
What was that about the CIA? They didn't like it. They didn't
Yeah.
like it. And it's
My
like,
father is intelligent. He's an intelligent person.
listen, I was fighting this movie. I was looking at it and I was like, I was watching the movie and I was, this is so messed up. Like Layla is messed up, okay?
Yeah.
She's messed up. We don't get anything of her, anything, but we can see from who behaves like that for a man that kidnaps her. I didn't get it, but at the end of it, like when they go to the bowling
Yeah.
alley and they play bowling and all of that, there is a moment that he even says to her, "You can leave now if you want to."
But she doesn't.
But she doesn't. She wants to stay with him, and she's growing some sort of affection for
Hmm.
him, clearly. And I feel like in the parents' house at the lunch, I feel like Layla got to see that Billy does not come from a home.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
didn't have a
and
chance in life, isn't
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that kind of maybe she related somehow, but we don't know because we don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
But clearly, I remember seeing her facial expressions like she was really
Oh, probably. That's me just putting out there. She's a sociology major, and she's like, oh.
Lila is a sociology major.
Just he's
What?
like she goes like, oh, he never had a chance in his life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um
Just
okay,
kidding.
Bruno.
Just
Sure.
kidding.
The girl who wears like the yes, Layla with she tap dances, but she goes to a sociology course at night.
Oh, I love the bowling scene.
The
When
bowling
she
scene,
taps dance and everything.
that scene, listen, that's for all I feel about like I have my feelings towards this movie. I went to YouTube and I found like the clip of her just dancing, and you have no idea how many times I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I love that scene. I love the song, the Moonchild song, and I can't stop thinking about it. Like it's such a beautiful scene, and
Yeah.
it makes you hate Vincent Gallo even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
that's
scene. One of
it's a
one
beautiful
of
scene.
my
Like
favorite
guys,
scenes.
guys, if you haven't seen it, just I mean, imagine you don't want to watch Buffalo 66, but like go and watch it.
It's a
it's a
beautiful
great
scene.
movie. Yeah, but you can look for the scene of Layla just dancing in the bowling alley, and it's so beautiful and so like I felt the energy on her body because she had no energy, like she was so just dragging herself, and it's like I loved it. I loved how she was just looking down and just tapping in such a chilled, because tap dancing is so fast and so like precise, and it was none of that, but it was so perfect in a sense.
Yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
was. It was. For me, like the film breaks into two main sequences. It was like up to the parents' house and after the parents' house. Because
Okay.
from the start, and because he speaks with his friend, from the start that he comes out of jail and everything, but he has only one thing in his mind, which is to kill the guy that missed the field goal
And then heal himself.
and kills himself. So that Bill is gonna have like he's walking towards a tragic end. And he kidnapped this girl, which complicates everything, complicates his day, and this is all happening in one day. And
Yeah,
when
like
he
Layla really complicates his plan.
Yeah,
um
and all of a sudden it's like in the bowling alley, because that he's just wasting time until the bar that the other guy has, until the bar opens up so that he can go there and kill him and kills himself.
yeah.
So he's like, he kind of tries to, or he comes back to like this very humane Billy, and this is why she is like, yeah, you can go now because she fulfilled her mission. Like, because you know that for Billy there won't be a tomorrow. And for that moment on, from like the bowling alley on, you have this anxiety to the film, isn't it? Like as a viewer, because you know, like, oh, this guy's nuts. This
Yeah,
guy's
but the
gonna
thing
actually
is,
doing it.
I don't think that, or maybe I didn't realize that Billy was going to kill himself, you know. That was the
Yeah,
plan. I thought like I only realized that when like at the end when he imagines the
yeah, yeah,
that he's gonna do it, and I was like, okay, so he's gonna kill him and then kill himself. Gonna kill the guy and then himself, right? So even when he says like bye to Layla, I was like, I was not thinking about it. Like I didn't know.
okay.
I just thought that he was like, yeah, you already went to my parents. They know. Like, let's talk about the photo booth scene because
Oh yeah,
what?
that's beautiful. But that's the scene that actually tells you that he's gonna kill himself.
Oh,
Because it's like the photo booth scene is amazing scene
it's an amazing scene,
because
but
is all rigid, isn't it? And she's
no,
making faces and
you don't get
stuff.
it. It's so funny, but it's so sad. It's like
Yeah,
it's such a conflicting scene because it's like they are taking pictures,
yeah,
which was so random. Like Billy saying,
yeah,
"Let's take pictures. Let's get in this photo booth and take pictures." And they're like taking pictures, right? We just see the frame of the camera that it's
yeah,
going
yeah,
to take the pictures, and you see Layla on his lap, and she's like kind of happy, and he's like, we are a couple that how does he say that loves each other very
yeah,
much. We spend time together. We
yeah,
need to look like we spend time together.
yeah.
And he goes on and on about it, but it's like
He has
I
a
don't
straight
get.
face.
But it's yeah. But the thing is, whenever they were like sitting, and Layla was like on his lap and smiling in every frame and like making faces, funny faces, sticking her tongue out, and then she like in one of the pictures, she kisses his cheek. And
Yeah,
he freaks out.
yeah,
He's like, "What are you doing?
yeah,
What are you doing? No, we are not that type of couple. We
yeah.
do not touch each other. We look like we spend time together. We are very happy, but we do not touch each other. We are very happy spending time together. Can you do that? Can you do that for me? Are you able to do that?" He's like, goes on and on and on and on about it. I was like, what do you mean? A couple that it's married, happy, spends time
But
together,
it makes
loves
sense,
very
doesn't
much.
it? It makes sense because like
And then like,
his
okay,
mother
but
never gave him any comfort
sure,
and
sure, but then like look at the pictures and look how sad he looks.
yeah,
He like looks like Layla is there smiling, and then you look at Billy and it's the same face in every frame, okay? He does
yeah.
not change his face. And it's like, oh, and look, it's a very sad face. He just looks like he's gonna burst into tears. It's a
Yeah.
very, I don't know, it's a very harsh look, especially the look, the gaze that he portrays in that scene. And
But it's like, but it's the what he says. One of the justifications he gives is like he needs those pictures so that those pictures are sent to his parents once a
right,
year.
right, and once a year, and it's like still
But
trying to fulfill
but you
the
know, but the way he talks and everything, you know that he's not the one sending them. He's just
no.
building stock footage of
No, no,
himself.
we know that Layla is gonna send them,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
when you get
gives
the
away, yeah,
yeah, that
that
gives
gives.
away that he's gonna kill himself.
Yeah, but the thing is, what got me was like, so you are going on about Layla not looking a certain way in these pictures and being like happy in this relation, but then your face in these pictures is awful. Like you hate this marriage. What do you mean we spend time together and we like Layla should be the one who was like freaking out because he looks awful in the pictures. Yeah, and then they go to a hotel.
No, no, no.
Like
They go
Billy's
no, they go
what?
before no. They go to the restaurant where they meet the real Wendy.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah, they go to the
That
yeah.
scene is awful. Like that Wendy girl,
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah. But that's I think that's when Layla gets like the full picture, isn't it, of him like having this really rough life. Like
Yeah.
the
She's
dog
like
that
this
got
guy.
killed, like the mother that doesn't care about him, like the abusive father. and all of a sudden the sweetheart, the high school sweetheart that's like a bitch. It's like, oh God.
So Layla wants a hot chocolate, but Billy is very embarrassed because his, I don't know, childhood sweetheart is there. And she recognizes him and starts like talking to him and saying like, "Oh, aren't you the guy who was spying on me every time
Yeah.
and looking through the window and all of that?" I was like, okay, so Billy was like a stalker. Okay.
Yeah.
Billy was getting very embarrassed. And this girl, this Wendy girl, is very rude, has a very ugly personality and mocks him and has a boyfriend. And they start laughing and making out, and it's very awkward, and she's just a very unlikable character, and Billy wants to like get out of there,
Yeah.
because he's embarrassed, and Layla is like, no, I want my hot chocolate, as she should, as she should. You go, Layla, like hot chocolate first, and Billy's like, oh, if you want to stay, you stay. I don't want to, I don't know. They start fighting, you
Yeah,
see,
very
like Billy
spoiled,
starts.
isn't it? A very spoiled argument.
Yeah, it's very, I don't know. And Layla says, I'm not gonna leave just because they are here and stuff like that. And I was like, yes, Layla. I feel like this was one of maybe the first time that we see Layla actually taking like a grip and being like,
Yeah.
no, I want to do this. I'm not gonna do everything that you want. Like she wants her hot chocolate. And then he is rude and leaves her behind, and she starts crying. And I was like, Layla girl, you should have drove when he was peeing behind the tree. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it would save yourself a lot.
yeah, but she's damaged. Like we already got to the conclusion that she's a damaged girl. Like we don't know how or why, but she is. And of course she would stay. Like after a while, Billy actually gets back. He has a breakdown in the
Yeah.
bathroom. A very long breakdown. Like,
And he
be aware,
apologized to her.
people. Yeah, like be aware, people who didn't watch Buffalo 66. But this scene where Billy has a breakdown in the bathroom is like very long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, go make yourself a snack or something. Like
Yeah.
he starts crying and
Oh,
he
that's
thinks
cool
that.
because it's
Yes.
actually it's a very heartbroken scene, isn't it? And you're like, oh,
You
go make yourself a
think?
sandwich. There's a man crying. There's a man having a heartbreak. So go
No,
make
the thing.
yourself a sandwich. Don't
Okay,
pay any
maybe I
attention.
was listen, maybe I was very insensitive, but the thing is, I don't care. I don't like the character, okay? And I was like, this is too long. I'm like, we get it. He's sad, Like I didn't care. Maybe I'm being like rude and insensitive, but the thing is,
Miha's feminist side coming up, like,
no,
oh,
no,
there's a
that's
man
not
crying
true.
there. Don't look. Don't look.
No, no, that is not true. Please do not paint me like that. I love when a man cries. I love when a man cries. I do. I do. I hate when men do not like cry. I actually think crying is amazing. I am a weeper myself. But the thing is, it's too long. Like I got bored. Yeah, I didn't like it. So that's why I'm saying it was too long. Like, come
I'm
on, you
just
have to
kidding with you.
agree. You
Yeah,
have to agree.
he extended a little bit. It kind of makes like he probably had like 88 minutes into the film. He's like, oh no, 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 I need to make it 95. And he went back
What?
and he extended the scene. But
Well, yeah, he goes back
but
to
if you look at
Layla.
everything that he goes through the entire film, like releasing from jail, and
Yeah, it's
everything,
like a
and
breakdown. Yeah, I
it's
get it.
it's justified. It's just a justified breakdown because he has in his mind he's going to kill himself,
Yeah, no,
which
you are
is
right.
which
It
is
is.
something like in the last couple of months. I don't know if this has come across with you, but I have seen a lot of it comes up like in Instagram in reels and stuff, a lot of people sharing like the last videos they have from men that committed suicide, like the last video they ever recorded.
What? No,
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
what
you
your
never saw
feed
it.
is.
Oh, you
No,
never
I
saw it.
don't.
But it's like it's coming up. It's probably because of an age thing. Like Instagram is like, oh, you're 44, you're not killed yourself. Like, look at what this man did.
What?
It's probably the
That's
AI. Yeah, yeah, it's
awful.
probably the AI taking over. Like, let's start with these guys. But it's like one of the things that it's common on all of them. It's like they're very happy, they're very going on with their life. Like they're being like grandparents and fathers. And the last one I saw is actually yesterday. It was this guy celebrating his 30th birthday, and his daughter is singing a happy birthday to him, and he's like looking at his daughter and everything. And apparently killed himself, like 4 days later. So it's like there's a big discussion going on about, like in some like especially in psychology, about this, like how can you like science, how can you help people like in that stage, because most people don't actually show anything. Most people don't actually just happy. They're just laughing, they're happy. It's very different nowadays. Like this is like 2023, 2024, we're talking about this, but like 1998, because all this masculinity is still the norm, like you being tough, like you having this dick energy, and you have all this. The character that Billy is such a great character, in the sense that probably one of the first times that it was actually accomplished in a time where what you call toxic masculinity was actually normal masculinity, that you see a character that doesn't fit. He tries to like don't look at my dick and like all that, so like being very heteronormative and being very
Very
homophobic,
aggressive
very
and
aggressive
very,
towards
yeah,
threats, but it doesn't fit there. And like having that scene where he finally breaks down, and he because he can't be that guy. He can't be that very masculine guy that he's always trying to portray, like the guy that wins the argument, the guy that tells the woman what she has to do, and being all bossy and all, also because his entire life he was never that guy.
yeah.
So it's like it's all of the big discussion about what a man is, and about toxic masculinity is actually in this film. People don't actually sometimes realize, and you probably won't see people discussing at this side of the story. Everyone would be like, "Oh, the love story. I love this film." Like how they warm up to each other and everything, and
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah,
tragic character.
that's usually the opinions that people
But they never see this. It's like this is actually a really cool film, because you actually have a man that in 1998 is actually saying that he rather kills himself because he doesn't fit that masculinity model that a society has for him. And the way he breaks down, and like it's an extended scene, it's very long scene, but the way that he does it, and the way he speaks with his friend, well, like his dimwit friend, very aggressive and
yeah.
everything, and mistreats him and stuff like that, because it's a way of him getting that little bit masculine power. I like the scene when he breaks up, because it's like, man, finally you have a man crying, a man like coming to terms that he doesn't fit in this world, and which is
But
probably what a lot of people think when they kill themselves.
okay, now that got a bit deep.
Yes.
It got deep. I'm sorry, guys, but okay, so like lighting up the mood, Billy actually doesn't kill himself. Whoops, spoiler.
Yeah.
No, like Billy doesn't, because the movie actually ends in a positive note. But
But
going off from what you said, it's interesting because after the coffee, the Billy actually says, "You want to lay in a hotel with me?" Right? And they go to this motel, hotel, whatever. He wants to take a shower. And I really liked the whole sequence. Like from here now on until the end of the movie, I really loved it. The breaking down scene in the bathroom, it was like the release, you know. We saw like a first release with the him needing to pee after jail and all of that. But this was like a different type of release that he actually also kind of was building up to and never got to it, and then suddenly he has this very long breakdown, and finally he's like, okay, I still am going through with my plan, but things will change in a bit. They go to this hotel, and I really love the way that he wants to take a bath, you know. He does not want her to go to the bathroom and see him naked, because there he is, like he's not confident enough to even let Layla see him, or no one for that matter. Like the scene is constructed in a way that Layla is like, but I'm cold and I want to go in and all of that. And the scene is constructed in such a way that little by little, like frame by frame, we see Layla going there, and he's like, but don't look at me. You can come in, but don't look at me. Don't look at me. It's like the same thing as when he's peeing behind a tree,
Yeah.
and he's like, don't look at me, because he was actually exposing a part of his body
Yeah.
as well. And Layla's like, yeah, no, 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 can I get in? But I'm cold. Can I get in? And then like the frame changes, and she is in the bathroom with
Yeah.
in like in the bathtub with him. And the thing is, Billy is not even naked in the bathtub. He's
No.
with a shirt, like yeah. So okay. Like he also has a shame to look at himself.
Yeah.
It's not even like others looking at him, it's also himself. Afterwards, Layla gets out of the bathtub and he closes the door to get dressed because he doesn't want her to see him getting dressed.
Yeah.
And then they lie in the bed, and I love the scene. I love that scene because
Yeah.
it's like the body language of them lying
It's a
says so
beautiful
much.
shot.
Like fuck Vincent Gallo, Again, like you can see so much of the character just by the way they are
Yeah.
lying on the bed. Like Layla's just lying there, and Billy is like in almost in a diagonal, in super straight position, like he's legs are laying straight,
Yeah.
his hands are like laying straight. It does not look natural. It looks super tense and uncomfortable, and it just reflects so much of him. And little by little, like Layla starts like extending her hand and touches his, and they like hold hands somehow, and then like they watch into each other's eyes and they kiss, and then like this actually broke me. Like this
Yeah.
actually kind of like broke me inside, because he then curls up into a fetus position, like he curls up his body towards her, and she finally gets to hold him,
Yeah.
like the way he did not allow her to hold him in the steps when they were at his parents' house. He falls asleep in while Layla is holding him, and it's such a vulnerable position. Like it's such a childlike position. Like it's almost as he finally had let his guard down, and he's childlike, kind of like Layla got to hold him, like not only Billy from now, but Billy from childhood as well.
No, it's a
And
beautiful, beautiful scene because, like, for me, when like seeing it, I'm seeing a guy that is saying goodbye to everything. He's like he wants
also,
to
yeah,
he wants to have a shower, he wants to clean himself. That's what a lot of people do when they kill themselves. They have a shower first. He wants to go out clean. He has all those trust issues and all these issues. And don't forget, the guy has spent 5 years in jail where you have to shower with everyone and you have that close proximity in a very homoerotic environment.
yeah,
So he's really closed down on himself, like, and she's trying to get to him, and she's trying because at this point she sees like this guy just had like the biggest fucked up life that I have ever seen, probably. And she's like just trying to get to him. But it's so funny when he's sitting in the bathtub with his shirt on and everything.
yeah, and he's like holding his knees and like,
Yeah.
don't look at me, don't
Yeah,
look at
he's
me.
like he's like, oh, don't rape me or something like that.
Yeah, like he's so insecure. Like it
yeah.
actually makes you feel for him. Like,
Yeah, and then the scene
God,
in the bed where he finally allows someone actually to hold them and everything, and
yeah,
this is very ambiguous because this is a guy that's saying goodbye to everyone, and he probably wants to have that feeling that he never had once in his life, but he's actually that feeling is actually going to save his life, and but you don't
yeah,
know that at the
that's true.
time. You don't know
Yeah,
that at
he
the
doesn't
time,
know that.
and
Like he wakes up, and Layla he wakes up to actually go, okay, so it's time. I'm gonna kill the guy. Like the bar is already open. He's already there, so I'm going there. And Layla wakes up, and she has a feeling that he's not coming back.
yeah,
And she's like, but you are coming back, right? And he's like, no, I'm gonna get a coffee. And she's like, yeah, I want a hot chocolate,
yeah, the hot chocolate thing.
because she didn't get to have her hot chocolate at the cafe, at the restaurant.
Yeah. and he leaves.
He
It,
yeah, he
it-
leaves and she says I love you to him. So
yeah,
I don't know how much of an impact that may have had, but he goes to the bar. I mean, he doesn't go to the bar, but we actually see the scene of him going. No, he goes to the bar, but he
yeah.
doesn't get in
No, he
because
doesn't get in right away. He's
yeah,
like he's
but
building
we
his courage to it. He calls
exactly
his friends.
we see the scene as if he built up the courage and
Yeah.
shots the guy and himself,
In
and it's a
one of the
very
most beautiful scenes I ever
it's a
saw in
great
cinema.
scene. It's great cinema. Yeah, it's once again, let's say it together. Fuck Vincent
Fuck
Gallo.
Vincent
But
Gallo.
yeah, but it's a great scene. It's a
Oh, it's such a
beautiful like
beautiful,
what?
beautiful
Like
scene.
what do you mean the
The
shots
music,
in the
like the
head and
music
the
is
music?
perfect, and he walks to the guy, and all of a sudden, all you see is these photographs and
And
the face
and the
that he makes.
blood that it's like looking like no, I mean, I'm sorry guys, like this is not making any sense. We're just like and
Yeah.
that and this and for someone who hasn't watched Buffalo 66,
Oh yeah.
like people are just listening to us, these guys,
Oh,
what the
if you
fuck.
haven't watched Buffalo
um
66, go and watch it because it's an
but like
amazing film, and you'll see
but
some of the most beautiful scenes
yeah, but
in
like this
film story.
scene, come on, like go and watch it for this
Yeah.
scene. This
Yeah.
is like
It's
you
an
will not
amazing
see,
scene.
yeah, you will not see scenes
I'll
like
tell you,
this.
the film is tragic to that point because you know what's going to happen. And when the shot comes up with his and his face and the blood, I'm telling the entire theater laughed.
Really?
Yeah, everyone was laughing at it because
Yeah,
it's
but it was
such,
kind of comedic. I
yeah,
mean, the
but
whole
it's such a
faces and
beautiful shot, especially the face that he makes. It's such a beautiful shot to
yeah,
but I imagine I
it
was
looks
like,
like he's getting punched in the
yeah,
face by
I
like a
was like,
wrestler or something.
oh
It's
yes, I was like, oh, why, like I would probably kill someone to be on that stage, on that just to see them directing that scene. It's
I
such a
don't know.
beautiful
It was
shot.
like, but at the same time, it's like God. Like so we finally get to the climax of him killing
Yeah,
himself, and we are
yeah,
all laughing at it.
yeah.
What?
But yeah, everyone
Um,
laughed at it. It was such a release, I think, for the audience because the film from the parents onwards just goes on from tragic moment to like the tragedy is building and it's slowly building and you see it and all of a sudden you have that scene and everyone just I think it was just a
it's like a
release.
comedy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, everyone was just a release. And then the
Because
film cuts to him outside, doesn't it?
yeah,
Like
so we realized that he actually did not kill himself, and it
he
was
was
just
just
like
imagining it.
imagining how we would have been, and uh,
Oh no, but he imagines his funeral. He imagines his funeral, and the mother is listening to the radio to the Buffalo Bills game by his grave.
all
Yeah,
right, yeah, and the father and the mother is like listening. Oh yeah, I recalled now. Yeah,
and the
yikes.
father is like, "Can we go now?"
You know, we are laughing, but we are crying inside. It really is that. So yeah, he actually decides not to go
Yeah, he doesn't
through
go
it.
inside the bar.
He lets the revenge go, and he goes to this coffee shop and asks the guy for you guessed it, a hot chocolate
Hot chocolate and heart-shaped
for a
cookie.
Layla.
And he was so
And
happy with it. It's the
uh,
first time that you see Billy happy. And
I love
he's
that scene.
so happy with it.
I really liked that scene because the man is smiling. He's
Yeah, he's
actually happy.
smiling.
He's like,
He's very
I got a
electrified,
girlfriend.
doesn't he? Yeah, yeah,
I got a girl who loves
yeah.
me, and I want
Yeah.
this cookie that has a heart shape, like
Yeah.
a heart shaped cookie,
It,
and then he even pays
yeah,
another
for
cookie
another
for a
guy, for
guy.
another guy. Like, I'm buying you some. I'm buying you a
Like,
cookie
yeah,
also.
do you have a girlfriend? Do you have one? And the guy is like, yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And he's like, so I'm gonna buy you one.
Your cookie.
Don't you go and eat the cookie? It's
Yeah.
for your girl, okay?
And
Um,
he's so happy with his life and everything.
yeah, he's like, yes, I have someone who loves me. I have someone who like finally. I'm actually glad that the movie did not end tragically like that.
Now, I have to say something because you were talking about the scene with the bathroom and the scene of the motel and everything. And listeners won't know this, but if you can, if you want, just rewind the episode and go back and listen again to Miha talking about the entire scene. But you have to imagine that she has tears in her eyes.
What?
Yeah, you had tears in your eyes. You were talking and you had a little bit of tears in your eyes.
First of all, I did not,
Yeah, you
but
did because I saw it with the camera. You had tears in your
what?
eyes.
No, I
And
did
you were just
not.
like wiping them and everything and
It's a
you're
lie.
getting really
Y'all, don't.
emotional,
No, no, that's a lie. Listen,
look at like because your body's conflicting, like look at me, a feminist, and I'm feeling for this guy. Like I don't know.
what do you mean?
I'm
Me
just
as a
kidding.
feminist, I would feel for guys who are broken, for sure. I hate people who put up walls. Like, come on, be vulnerable. The thing is, that whole bathroom scene and the bed scene and all of it, it's so beautiful because it's a build up for him building down, and the movie ends in the best way because of that.
Yeah.
Him finally accepting letting his guard down and being like, I'm gonna try. This girl actually saved me. So I still don't like that he kidnapped her
Yeah.
for all it can, like he kidnapped her, you know. But Layla is a bit fucked up too, so
Yeah.
it kind of at the end of it. But once again, I want to like kind of just make a disclaimer because there is this cinema arc of a girl is gonna save the guy, in terms
Yeah.
of love. If the guy is like has trauma, is violent, whatever it is, falling in love with a girl and the whole meme of I can change him, I can save him, I can make him better. No, you can't. Okay, for all that matters, Billy needed therapy. Okay, so okay, yes, Layla, good for you, good for Billy for finding love and all of that, but going into a more realistic note here, like therapy is important. It's not your job as a girlfriend to save him.
Well, you can even come up with a name for it because you were talking about like the idea of a woman in a love for a woman can save someone. It's like a kind of a King Kong complex, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same, like the big because King Kong is actually a man, isn't it? It's an analogy for a man, for a violent man lives within a nature that doesn't belong to society, and then the love for a woman saves him. It's a very old idea. It's a very, I think, manlish idea. I think it comes from men, doesn't come from women.
Yeah, but nowadays we do see women buy into that whole idea,
Oh yeah.
that I want a damaged man because I can save him. I wanted, yeah, I'll just open my legs and there you go. Like my pussy will save him. And
There's nothing
that's,
like the love of a good woman, isn't it? I think this is a phrase in a film.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like I don't agree with that
Yeah.
because it's not my job to save you. You see, like, and there
No
is
one
like
has to
this
save
whole.
anyone. You just need to
Yeah,
build
but
something
but a
together.
lot of people see romance through that lens,
Yeah, that's the
and
main issue.
that's not really how it works. You have to work on yourself, and you have to save yourself as well. And of course, you have to like better yourself to be in a relationship, and have to be with someone who actually does not bring you down, but bring you up.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you have to understand that a partner is not your therapist.
Yeah. It's
And
not your therapist, it's not your father, it's not your mother.
exactly. And it can take a toll on a partner to actually just carry all the baggage because you don't know how to actually just distribute the weight and realize what you have to like let go or not. And,
Oh yeah.
working on your trauma, on your mental health issues, whatnot. And a lot of people think that just falling in love would solve that, but not.
No, not quite.
Um,
And one of the
and
common mistakes is like because people they want to give presents and stuff, doesn't they? They want to give stuff to the other person, and all of a sudden they start giving like personal stuff, like clothes and shoes and stuff like
what?
that. Yeah, oh yeah, sure, it happens a lot. And all of a sudden you're like, and if you,
I feel like it's super cringy when someone gives me clothes.
oh
You know,
yeah, for
like
me
like
also,
like
don't
when like
do
what
it.
do you mean? I can buy myself clothes. What
Yeah,
what are you doing? It's
yeah,
like I kind of taken offense of it because it's like I know my style, I know what I like, and
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to feel pressure to wear this piece of shit because you gave
yeah.
it to me. You
But
know, like
it's like that, yeah.
the perfect present for me is food, but at the same time, I'm afraid to get food poisoned. So,
Yeah. I normally give out books. I used to give out CDs and stuff, but there's no CDs anymore. So I normally give out books. The only time I gave out a piece of clothes, actually, it was suggested that I bought a piece of clothes, and I was like, okay. So I kind of bought something that the person used it anyway. It's this thing, isn't it? As you said, you have to be a partner and not a mother, like, because in going back to the film, it's like Layla becomes Billy's mother in a sense.
I don't know. Should we make a soundbite of it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because she does, she becomes his mother, kind of thing.
Yeah, because at the same time, it's like the mother is so absent
Yeah,
that Layla does not only give him warmth and love as a romantic partner, but also as a
as a
motherly
motherly,
love.
yeah, probably that's why he's in the fetal position when she
Exactly.
holds.
Like when I said that he also let his childhood
Yeah,
trauma wear down, it was like in that sense as well. Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
just, you know, like when you meet someone and you talk to them, especially when you meet someone in terms of maybe like having a relationship with them, you talk a lot about stuff, but childhood and, you know, you even might talk about parents and all of it. But there is this whole thing about relationships and couples that is the time when you meet the parents, you know.
Oh yes.
You can have conversations about your childhood with your partner or future partner or whatnot, but you will actually meet really the childhood of this person when you meet the parents
Oh
and
yeah.
you meet the house that he grew up and you see pictures and you see the dynamic and everything. It will not only come from his point of view anymore or hers point of view or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So Layla got all of it in one take, you
Yeah,
know.
in one day.
Yeah, it was all like, and so it just made sense for Billy also to just let all down.
Yeah.
And but I also feel like Billy does not know what love is. Like I'm gonna say, like the first love that we know of from a woman is our mother's love, you
Yeah.
know, and he did not have that. And he did not have romantic love as well. So it's kind of like a mockery. Love for
Yeah.
him was a mockery with his crush, with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And Layla kind of has to fulfill now all of those types of love. So she will kind of have to fulfill also the mother role
Yeah.
because she now will have to be his emotional support in a lot of ways, you know, because it's not the fact that Billy was happy at the end of the movie that all his trauma is
It's gone now.
gone.
It's just
Yeah,
like,
like it's not. And he's still a damaged person. Layla also has her damage,
oh
so
yeah.
all
So
right.
what's your
Let's wrap up. Let's wrap up because
yeah,
we
what's your
all like
final conclusions of the film that you love but you hate at the same time?
uh it will grow on me. Yeah, I mean, I will still rewatch the tap in the bowling's alley scene. Really like that one. My last thoughts are this is a very broken movie. Okay. Yeah, I feel like if you are in a mental state that is very fragile, maybe don't watch this. I don't think this is a love story.
No.
And Layla is very cute. Those are my final thoughts. Those are my conclusions. Uh, yes. What are yours? Like,
No, I
because
love
you
this
chose
film.
the
I
movie.
recommend people,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the film, go and watch the film. If you have seen the film and you're listening to us, go and watch the film. Probably you probably see it with a different set of eyes. I've watched this film many, many times. But it's an amazing movie. I really love our debate because it's a really good movie to discuss emotions and to discuss relationships. And normally we look at our life through the mistakes of others.
Well,
So
that was deep. That was deep now. That was
yeah, but
look.
it's true. It's true. Like you see Billy and you see all these his mistakes and errors.
Who's a sociology now? Huh?
Well,
was observing
anthropology and sociology are the same thing, basically.
Are they though?
Well, I normally say, this is what my take on it. I normally say that sociology is the anthropology of the rich,
You know
because
what? You got a point there. But yeah, you know what?
But yeah, it's very easy to see a film like this and have fun, because the film has amazing scenes. The
Yeah, in
cinematography
terms of
is very
cinematography,
old, but
no, but like
it was made to have
editing.
that old sense of it, and it's very creative. Some of the prison scene, or even the suicide scene, they're very, very creative. There are scenes that they stick with you, even if you don't want this. They stick with you because they're so fresh and they're so original.
Yeah, it's kind of like an old movie. It has already like what, 26 years.
Oh yeah,
It's
but they did
uh
something that's called reversal stock, which is older stock. Like they shot it on film, but they shot it on old film.
No, but I'm not
So,
talking about it. I'm talking about the fact that this movie is from the
oh, the age.
90s
Oh, okay,
and
sorry.
is still very it still has like a fresh sense to it
Oh
in
yeah,
terms of some ideas of sets and frames, and how like some scenes are built and how some emotion is shown without having like characters speaking, or
yeah,
like that bad scene or something
yeah.
like that. It's
The
in
bathroom scene that made you cry.
not the bathroom scene. And shut up, it did not make me cry. Like, what do you? No, I'm talking about the bed scene where they're
Yeah,
lying and you
it's
can
in the
see
bed.
their
Yeah,
butt,
yeah.
the bed and
Oh, the
no,
bed.
you cry, okay? When I cry, I admit I cry because I love crying. I'm a crybaby, but like not in that scene. We should do definitely. I should choose a movie that made me weep. You know, a movie
Oh,
that made
okay,
me weep. Not long ago, it was Past Lives.
okay. Why?
It's a recent movie. Have you seen it? From
No,
Celine Song.
but why?
It's well, because you know what? Maybe we'll do an episode about it. Who
Hmm.
knows? But you should definitely watch it, especially because of your age, you know.
Oh, again comes the
Ha ha
age
ha.
thing.
Look,
Oh.
you look. Now, but like that movie is a very interesting take on romance, in
Mm-hmm.
especially in film, because romance in cinema is not only itself a genre, but is itself like a plot, you know?
Yeah.
And human love, how it behaves, in romance and emotions, how complex relationships can be, are not so like. I'm not saying that movies paint a black and white pictures, but we definitely have been so influenced by the way that a romantic plot goes on that we kind of like compare it to how complicated it can be in real life, and
Yeah.
we kind of like also made so many illusions about the way that we want to meet someone and what is romantic, and then sometimes we don't even realize that sometimes movies portray a very toxic and psychotic trait and dangerous trait, and mask it as romance and
Yeah.
love, and we are very influenced by it, and we lose touch of what actually love should be, because like this movie plays with the whole arc of like we loved each other when we were kids, and then so many years later we reconnect. But in the romance arc in cinema, this is like a perfect romance. You
Yeah.
reconnect, you met when you were kids, and then like you are made for each other. But this movie really subverts this idea, and
Hmm.
and I feel like if you are like a teenager, I don't know, I feel like you will not get it. I think a lot of people my age also don't get it, but I feel like if you've been through stuff, you will get it.
Oh yeah.
Like, you will. I'm not talking about Buffalo, I'm talking about past lives now. I'm not going to talk much about it because this is not a past life episode, but it's a movie that really breaks you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very raw portray of how complex love can be. There you go. You have a second recommendation. You have the tragedy of Buffalo 66 and also the tragedy of past lives. Nonetheless, I feel
Yeah.
like we should continue to love. Like love.
Oh,
Love,
sure.
fall in love, suffer, cry, bawl out, weep, go and
She's
pee behind a
crying
tree. Shut up. No, I'm not. Like,
again.
What? You know what?
No, I'm just
Let's
kidding.
end it
The
here
the thing is,
because
like, I always have like an ambiguity within me with all these subjects, because
you're cold.
my first passion was always cinema, and when I
Oh,
grew
that's
up.
so cheesy. My first passion was
Yeah.
cinema.
Well, it is, but it's like, but I grew up with this artist kind of thing, because it's a very different vision when you grew up as an artist, or you grew up as trying to be an artist. And you look at the world, and you kind of let the world come to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You let the world come to you, and you feel stuff, and you empathize much more, and you think about stuff, but you think about stuff in this very own in your own mind. You're not reading like social studies and stuff like that, but you're trying to discover stuff. Like, I don't see Vincent Gallo reading criminology studies, but still, he made one of the best, if not the best, analogy of what it is to be reintegrated into society, as you can't even piss. For me, that's the power of art. That's the power of an
Yeah, it's so
artist.
simple as like taking a piss, but it
Yeah,
says so much.
he says so much. It's like it's amazing. But that's, for me, it's the power of art. And but then when I went and started studying anthropology before going to film school, all of a sudden I'm like confronted with all these notions, with all these ideas, and all of a sudden there's something that is completely lost in the academia, which is love.
Don't say it. Oh God. Like, but it is. It
It is.
is. Like, even for someone who comes from like humanities, like me, when you study like movies or like literature or art, paintings and whatnot, whenever like the theme of love comes, first of all they always make it into like psychoanalysts. Like it's always like something about Freud or Lacan, or they make it into like the weirdest stuff ever. It's never like the raw emotion of what love might be and what love because they have to intellectualize it, like it all, and it's so weird. Like love is really put aside in terms of
Yeah.
like an emotion that creates, and but it's like admitted. Yes, the whole art that we are studying is based on love, but we are not acknowledging it in terms of like
Yeah.
dissecting it, talking about it, how it really influences, and putting also the students to reflect on their experience and what they know of love through this art and art piece. No, this doesn't happen like in academia at all,
No, it
even like
doesn't.
in the most quote unquote sensitive areas like humanities and arts.
Yeah, he doesn't. But it's like, that's the ambiguity, because like in me, like, I have both worlds in me. So yeah, I can see from one side and from the other side, but the two sides aren't like, they don't exclude themselves. It makes, for me, makes more sense. They actually try to complete themselves. It's weird, like when I look at a piece like this, like a piece of art like this, and you see like it says so much about society, it's much about social commentary and all that, and it was such a film so ahead of its time. And all of a sudden, the big discussion around this film, it all comes back to love, which is something that it's like you can't even discuss it. For me, it's a masterpiece of a film. It's always been a masterpiece of a film because of that, because it's such a very complete film. But again, and knowing the creative process, it's not something that Vincent Gallo was like there and writing, and I'm gonna make the most complete film in the world. No, he's just telling stories, and he's just telling like little pieces of stories as he sees
Yeah.
it as an artist. And all of a sudden you have all these subtexts and meanings and all sorts. But it's like,
Yeah, but
it's
that's your job. That's your job as the viewer.
for me, it's one of the go-see films. It's because it's such a lesson in life. I think Buffalo 66 is such a lesson in life. It tries to be funny with all the family side of it and all that, but it is a really awesome film to debate life. And she's crying.
No, I'm not. God, you know what? We are going to finish this episode because you are like annoying me with the crying stuff. What do you mean I'm crying? Like I'm crying with what? Listen, okay, so our outro got like very long and we started talking about love. I love talking about love.
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Okay? And then
Watch it with
come to
friends
us.
and have a discussion.
Yeah, and then come to us and
Yeah.
say, like, what are your takes on it? We would love to hear it. We really would. You can contact us via Instagram, like via our messages on Instagram. And yeah, I mean,
You can
have a
contact us
chat.
through our email also.
Oh yeah, via our email is going to be linked on the description of the episode. Okay, the email. You can contact us through via Instagram or email. Yeah, and tell us about what were your thoughts on the movie. If you have anything, any like new stuff to add to our conversation, we would love to hear it. If not, that's okay. Thank you so much for listening. It was a fun time. Hope to see you next episode. Yeah.
Thank you guys. See ya.
Yay. Thank you. Bye.